Hey folks, Andrew Joyce from NEFSA here. It's hard to believe, for me anyways, that it's been more than 5 years since I started shooting the documentaries that were launched here on this YouTube channel. It's something I took on independently. Many of you actually contributed to that effort, and I greatly appreciated that, and still do. It was a great project to get to work on in 2021 and through 22 into 23. It was just something highlighting the fishery that my family's from, the region I'm from, and how they're affected mainly by two issues: offshore wind development and draconian whale regulations. And also highlighting the mismatch and the misapplied priorities between these two things. That lobstermen's end lines be removed from the water as soon as possible, that they were the gravest threat that wildlife face out there. It just didn't make sense. Well, since the days of those documentaries that premiered here on this YouTube channel, the New England Fishermen's Stewardship Association was formed. And this is a relatively young organization that kind of piggybacks on the great work that's been done by so many fisheries advocacy organizations that have existed for decades, but that were regionally focused or that were focused on one specific fishery. We needed a collective voice that could get the common things that fishermen, 99% of fishermen agree on, and bring that to Washington, and also just bring that to the average person and broadcast that everywhere, because people are fascinated with fishermen. And most of the general public of all political inclinations and all backgrounds, most of them are very enthusiastic about fishermen being able to do what they do, and they love seafood, and they need just to be informed on what's really going on and who fishermen really are. And so that's a mission that really resonated with me. And so the work that I was doing here, that just pivoted to doing it for NEFSA. And so a lot of folks who actually subscribed to this YouTube channel might not be getting notifications from NEFSA's social media, or might not be NEFSA members. That's something I'm really going to encourage you folks. If you believe in our mission and you haven't become members of NEFSA yet, we really could use the support. It's not just the financial amount. I mean, memberships are available very affordably, but it's also just having the numbers, having your voice and your name added to the list of people that want to save our fisheries. That is so impactful. There are so many ENGOs that leverage huge mailing lists and say that they have thousands upon thousands of members that agree with these crazy things they're pushing, that probably half the people who donated to them, they saw a picture of a cute animal, they gave $10, they like the idea of saving the whales or saving this or that, but they don't know about the real people who are being harmed by policies that are being pushed by some of these massive organizations. And we're small in comparison, but we're a grassroots voice of fishermen and people who are adjacent to or supportive of fishing communities. And I think we're getting a lot of traction. So this video is an experiment, because this is a YouTube channel that's essentially been dormant for the most part for a couple of years. All the work I'm doing is going to NEFSA's various platforms. But I know there's a lot of people here who might not be following that. I do think that you would be interested, most of you, in most of the work I'm doing on fishery issues, because that's what I've been covering here from the beginning. And I thought it would be great if I could bring to you some glimpses of what I've been doing, and also to encourage you to come over to NEFSA's various, Facebook if you're on there. If you're not, there's Twitter, and we do have a YouTube channel. There is Instagram. I've never used that in my life. I don't really know how to navigate it. But we do have other avenues where my work is being used, and if you like the videos I've done before, you might like the ones I'm doing now. So for those of you who've been here from the beginning, you might recall an organization that I referenced some years ago called Environment America. They were one of the ENGOs that was testifying to NOAA that lobstermen should be mandated to switch from their traditional fixed gear to this on-demand technology, also known as ropeless, which is in fact hopeless, and we'll be talking about that in the future. That organization, as many of those who are pushing the whole ropeless notion, has kind of changed their line of argumentation based on, I think, a lot of the pushback that they got, and realizing that they weren't getting very far with it. They like to talk about how ropeless is just an option. They're just pursuing options. They just support the idea of options being open. They just want fishermen to have all the options. Well, this is a video where I showcase a new commercial basically for Ropeless gear that they sponsored or participated in or however they were involved in commissioning it or supporting it or funding it. Their name's on it and a Ropeless developer's name is on it. We're going to show that, dissect it a little bit, and also compare this with what they were actually testifying to the federal government some years ago, because there's, once again, a little bit of a mismatch there between what they're telling you now and what they have been telling the government all along. So check this video out. A developer of ropeless lobster gear and an NGO called Environment America have released a new video extolling the benefits of ropeless fishing technology.
So this gear really, it sort of helps everybody, right? So it's helping the whales, it's helping the fishermen be able to get back to fishing when, you know, there's whales present, which if we keep doing a good job with conservation of these animals, there are going to be a lot more of them, right? That's the whole point.
Guess what? A whale could break my rope, no problem. We put all these breakaways in because it all breaks under the 1,700 pound strain. We're doing what we've been told to do. If we were having trouble with whales and they were lugging our gear off, we would have come up with a solution on our own.
We know it works. We put it down, it comes back up.
It's just ludicrous. We fish here in Bar Harbor. We've got channels that run out of the bay, and the tide runs tremendously hard. You have to haul them on the tide. If you were to try to fish ropeless fishing there with the amount of people that are fishing it, you couldn't do it. I mean, how would you know where somebody's gear is? How would they know where yours are? If somebody sits on top of you, is your buoy gonna pop up? And if you got a little buoy on, and however it's gonna work, and it pops up, and you see it and you're a quarter of a mile away from it, and all of a sudden the tide's running so hard you can't get there in time enough to grab a hold of it before the tide takes it all the way back down to bottom, which the tide does do to buoys in those areas.
That's probably the biggest hurdle we had was gear marking, which we've got the apps, so lots of different fishermen using lots of different devices can fish around each other and be able to see where everyone else is fishing, but not necessarily who's fishing around them.
It is so ridiculous. These people that come up with these ideas have never been aboard a boat. They go and they pay people to test it because people think, oh, well, we could test it, but we're going to make some money off it, but it'll never work. If somebody came to me and said, would you test it? I'd say, no, I won't test it. You're not going to give me the money. I know it's not going to work.
Now we're really working on getting this gear to be authorized in fisheries as like a gear type that people could use all the time if they wanted to. It should just be seen as an extra tool in the toolbox. Really, this is like a win-win for everybody.
It's good for the environment. It's certainly much better for the whales, and it's good for the fishermen too.
All of this talk about ropeless tech being totally optional and a desire for doing what's best for fishermen stands in stark contrast to public comments that Environment America made to NOAA Fisheries back in 2021.
My name is Maya, and I'm an oceans intern with Environment America. We are a nationwide network of state-based nonprofits dedicated to protecting our air, water, and open spaces. The proposed seasonal habitat closures in the rule will not do enough to prevent right whale entanglements in fishing gear. The proposed closures to vertical buoy lines are too small and too short in durations. Organizations including Pew and the Conservation Law Foundation have recently petitioned NOAA to take emergency action, and we at Environment America echo those words. The agency should close certain areas to the use of vertical buoy lines immediately until a better set of rules is proposed using the best available science. We think this set of rules should include larger and longer planned closures for right whale habitats that prohibit commercial fishing. We also would like to see this rule take concrete steps towards creating a pathway for the eventual widespread adoption of ropeless fishing gear. I urge you to do everything you can to save our right whales. We can't let this species disappear on our watch.
People are willing to kill one of the cleanest, most viable fisheries in the world, there would be no small boat fishery anymore. Everybody would have to have a huge boat just to lug the gear you have to put the rope in. However they do it, put it in something and drop that, and you'd have to start fishing huge trawls. You couldn't fish pairs. It would destroy the whole way of fishing.
Good old Environment America. Well, I wanted you to see that video because honestly, the only way I think you might have seen it is if you were following NEFSA's Twitter account. That's where that video was posted. And I think a lot of people on this YouTube channel probably did not see that. And I just want to encourage you, please follow NEFSA's social media accounts because that's where the videos I produce, once they're done, they are posted there. But I think there's a lot of folks here who may have been missing out on some of the things that I've been working on. So I really want to encourage you to follow our channels or platforms or websites and consider joining us if you haven't already. And I will be back soon with another in the Ropeless is Hopeless series that have not premiered here to encourage you to follow NEFSA for all the latest updates and all the latest videos.